stream of 90X attackers, and we are jumping right in. Here we go.
Here it is. Acrobike starting out from Caleb. Going first, of course, a huge advantage. Sees a Slugma right away, so that's a pretty good option. Can get that in play, and we know how important Mag Cargo and Smooth Over is for this deck. Never mind. Gonna just discard it.
Yeah, on the flip side, Rukan starts Marshadow, and if I remember correctly, he started this exact Pokemon the last time he played Caleb. Rukan, of course, runs no outs to Shrine of Punishment, so he'll need to get creative when that eventually hits the board from Caleb.
Looks like Caleb's having to eye up a Rangaroo. Maybe he has a little bit of an awkward hand.
Yeah, one of the few downsides of this Buzzgarb Shrine is if your opening hand is kind of poor and you have Ultra Ball, you don't get to bail yourself out with that Tapu Lele because they want to guarantee a Sledgehammer turn, and Tapu Lele, of course, presents a small opening for an opponent to get around that.
And over on Rukan's side, too, as you mentioned, started that Marshadow GX, and that's probably one of the last starters he wanted to see. Probably that and the Dawnwings Necrozma are pretty bad for him. One being weak to Dark, which is Weavile, and this one, not only does it just have 150 HP, but it's also weak to Psychic, and Rukan plays so many items. Trash Lynch could definitely be a pretty big threat pretty fast.
Yeah, we saw Caleb discard the Judge with those Ultra Balls. You know, I'm not sure if he had the Cynthia before or if he drew into it with the Rangaroo, but he's just trying to see as many cards as possible. You know, I think if he can get a Slugma down here, maybe another Trubbish as well. But all in all, this is a pretty good opener for Caleb. And we do see the Slugma.
Yeah, gets that back with the Rescue Stretcher, and yeah, he went ahead and attached the Rainbow Energy actually to the active, and this could be big. If Rukan plays just 2 item cards, all Caleb needs is a Choice Band and a Garbodor, and because of the Shrine of Punishment damage, he'll be able to take a knockout on the Psychic Weak Marshadow, so that's a quick 2 prizes in Caleb's favor, and yep, there's 2 items down, so if Caleb can find those other cards.
Yeah, Rukan understands that in order to set up, he needs to play a lot of items, and when he does, this Marshadow is hitting the grave, and you know, unfortunately, he needs to let the Marshadow die as soon as possible here. He attaches an energy. I don't know what 1 energy psychic attackers he has.
I think he's maybe just wanting to burn a card out of his hand to not only draw more with Lily, but it'll also be an energy that goes to the discard pile once the Marshadow gets knocked out.
Yeah, he can also pay to retreat the Marshadow if he wants. I'm not sure. Judges are stopping for something.
Want to make sure we have the right number of cards drawn, maybe? So, they're saying he didn't shuffle his deck, I think, after the Mysterious Treasure for the Lily.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Rukan does play pretty quickly, so maybe he did, you know, just sequencing error on that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see
what it is. I'm not sure
how
that will affect.
Yeah, so they'll just shuffle his deck, they'll put it back. There may be a penalty. We'll get an update on that if that's the case. I mean, this is the finals, right? We want to make sure things are played properly. Right. You know, it's important that things procedurally are done correctly. And yeah, it's sounding like there might be a 2 prize loss for Rukan, which is just devastating, honestly.
And that, yeah, I agree. It's bad because Caleb is 2 prizes closer, but Caleb still has the Marshadow, and Rukan just concedes immediately because he understands that Caleb would realistically only need to take 2 other prizes.
Yeah, so we're heading into a game 2 already. That's a pretty fast game 1 in the finals here.
Yeah, but it kind of makes sense. Rukan started that Marshadow. That's 2 prizes, and the 2 prize penalty is 4 prizes. And Caleb Gedemer can almost certainly take just 2 prizes over the course of that game. So Rukan, no real reason to play it out. Caleb had the Slugma and the Rangaroo. Next turn he was probably going to get the Macargo, and that would almost certainly just spell disaster for Rukan.
Yeah, good catches by the judges. These players are pretty tired. They've been playing so long. 2 days worth of Pokemon. They're the last 2 remaining in the tournament, of course. So good eye on both of the judges, and we stopped that pretty quick and resolved it. And looks like we're heading into game 2.
Yeah, definitely. If I'm Rukan here, the first thing I want to do is not start Marshadow.
Yeah.
The second thing I want to do is shuffle my deck after I look at it. And then the third thing, I don't know, probably get some Inkay down.
Yeah.
Maybe some Deoxys.
Man, and it looked like he was going to be able to do it. He had, Mysterious Treasure. He found one. He had the one he put in play from the Lily. He had Friend Ball, so he's going to get a lot in play. Just unfortunate that he didn't shuffle his deck. So
Yeah. But Caleb, probably not too beat up about it. Now Caleb is just one game away from claiming the Philadelphia regional title. Rukan obviously going to fight back if he can. This is where Rukan wants to be, going first against this Buzzgarb Shrine deck that gives him a turn to get Inkay down, that gives him a turn to get energy into the discard, and he can possibly get the first knockout.
Let's also not forget what is on the line here in this finals match. By getting to the finals, these players have both guaranteed themselves at least $2,500. Yep. Second place does walk away with that, but first place not only gets the title of regional champion, 200 championship points, $5,000, and also a huge jump start on the season and potential stipends later on in the year. So a lot going for both of those options.
Yeah, Caleb started with one of two Pokemon that Rukan cannot abuse with Friend Ball, starting with that Slugma. The other one, I believe, is Oranguru. But he did start, I think that's a Mimikyu. The glare makes it a little difficult to see. It's not a GX, that's for sure, which means that unless something goes terribly wrong for Rukan, we will not see a GX hit his side of the board.
Yeah, and he's already got 2 Inkays in play, which is just what he wants to do. Definitely wants to try to find a Lily if he can, drawing multiple cards. And, yeah, he's checking his deck here, seeing what is prized.
Yeah, the active, we just got confirmation the active is Mimikyu. So that could draw him some cards with his Filch attacks. Yep. Can't attack on the first turn, but, it's not totally dead sitting up in the active spot.
Yeah, so just taking his time. Rukan's, definitely known as a by the numbers person. He does a lot of calculations, figures out correct lines of play, and so by memorizing his prize cards here, he's going to be able to utilize that to the full effect. And Marshadow turn 1, this could be really big.
Yeah, we saw this a couple times already, Judge against this Buzzgarb Shrine. If you're not set up, Judge can be really punishing because, the deck is clunky, and so Rukan might actually be able to just steal a quick game through this let loose ability.
Yeah, and even though he is shuffling cards into his deck and drawing 4, he has not played a supporter still, so he could still find something like a Lily here and draw up to a bunch more cards. There's an Acrobike. I think Rukan, as we kind of mentioned, just the way his deck is built, he kind of accepts okay, I'm going to play a lot of items. I'm not even going to worry about trying to think of Garbodor. I'm just going to play my cards and try to set up consistently. Ooh, just a pass. This is big for Caleb. What are his 4 cards? It's an Acrobike.
He's got an Acrobike to start. I don't see a supporter
looks like a
that
Guzma
draws.
Guzma Rainbow, Slugma, and Weavile. So this Acrobike is pretty big.
And I think if it was a supporter, he would have taken that, immediately.
Yeah. Ooh,
it's a Diancie. So
he does have a Rainbow, so what's interesting is he could actually use Magma Ring and buy some time. Rukan has no way to do any damage to this Slugma with the Mimikyu. I guess he could copycat and copy the Magma Ring and do 10 damage, but this Mimikyu can't move.
Wow, this is a battle of titans here between this Mimikyu and Slugma. However, if Rukan can get a supporter here, I'm gonna guess that Rukan is attaching to this Mimikyu or this Marshadow. Rukan doesn't have anything either, but he does have Filch. Oh, he does have a Cynthia. Yeah. So I actually would have maybe held that attachment in case he got Deoxys.
Yeah, it's interesting. Shadow Punch on Marshadow only does 30 damage, even though most of Caleb's deck is Psychic weak. It's not really going to take any knockouts. It could take a knockout on a Trubbish that has a rainbow on it, but other than that, it's not very useful. Maybe he just wants the energy there to have the retreat option later on.
I suppose. He has a chance to win the game this turn, but I guess...
he can't retreat the Mimikyu is the thing.
He's got an escape orb on the Mimikyu.
Yeah, but the escape orb only lets it retreat under special conditions. It's not effects of the attack.
Oh, does Magma Ring...
Magma Ring makes it so you can't retreat, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's your encyclopedic knowledge of...
Oh, this is it! He wins! He just invasions! 2 psychic recharges!
Wow.
Dark Flash.
That was a fantastic Cynthia.
And in less than 10 minutes, we're headed to Game 3 of the finals. What is happening right now?
Wow. These two turbo, I guess, donk decks, kind of. I'm not really sure, but I don't think either of these players really expected this to happen, but we've got 64 minutes for maybe another donk, I guess, even. Definitely not expecting that.
Not what I was expecting at all from these games. Rukan scooped game one, of course, immediately after receiving a double prize penalty. And Caleb, he had another Slugma, I think, in his hand. Chose not to bench it because he didn't want to give Rukan the Guzma out.
Yeah.
But Rukan ends up finding his one copy of Dawn Wings Necrozma GX, finds an energy, and the Psychic recharges, and is able to take the knockout. What just happened?
You know, it's interesting. There are a lot of times players will find themselves in situations where they have a lone basic in play and one in their hand, and they're deciding what the likelihood of getting donked is. And it seems like more often than not they won't play another basic, and that means they're almost certainly going to get donked because that's how Pokemon works, I guess. Rukan saw the lone Slugma and decided to Cynthia into double Malamar, Energy, and Dawn Wings. So this game, I think both players want to adapt their strategy, probably want to play the game, maybe actually fight for that 5,000 and the title. So we'll see what happens. Already looks a little bit better from both players.
So it looks like Sneasel start over on Caleb's side. Acrobike as well. Going to discard an Ultra Ball with it and has access to more cards in his deck.
He's got a Slugma in his hand, I think. I think there's a...
I think
it might be it's a Macargo, but I think he has the Weavile in his hand as well.
Okay.
And a a Trash Lance that he discarded. Probably wants to just grab a Buzz here. No, actually takes the Oranguru. I don't think he has a supporter, so he wants to be able to burn as many cards as he can to draw out of it. But this kind of signals an ugly opening hand from Caleb.
So we're gonna check on. Looks like Caleb's Ultra Balled, and he's gonna rescue Stretcher. He's gonna rescue Stretcher 2 Pokemon back into the deck.
Yeah, if I'm Caleb here, I really just want to find another supporter, Lily or a Cynthia if he can. He finds an Acrobike. Gonna discard another Shrine, and I think that's a third Acrobike, so 3 Acrobike on the first turn. Discards a Judge and gets a Lily for 7. So that Ultra Ball for Oranguru ended up paying dividends. Caleb drawing 7 cards here. He probably just wants a Trubbish. He's got the Buzz down, obviously. But if he can find like a Nest Ball for a Slugma or for a Trubbish, either is fine.
Okay, so it looks like there's been a stoppage of play. Judges are going to have a discussion here. I think they might be talking about something that happened at the end of last game. So we're going to take a look at that. But for now, we can just kind of think about, like, how is this matchup actually, supposed to play out? These games have been very interesting so far.
Yeah, definitely. Game 1 wasn't really a game. Game 2 wasn't really a game. Game 3 looks already to be more of a game. Caleb's had a pretty phenomenal turn 1 so far. Got the Shrine down. That's going to stick. He's got a Oranguru. He's got Buzz. Really all he wants is probably Slugma, maybe Trubbish.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Macargo just be so important for this deck throughout the whole weekend, right? So getting Slugmas out is so crucial, especially like when you have things like these 1/1 attackers with Weavile. You've got, specific energies you need for each turn. So it's definitely something interesting. Is this a Beast Energy? On the Sneasel, yeah. So definitely not where you usually want to put your Beast Energy, but Caleb having to do what he had to do.
Yeah, so we're just waiting. Judges are conferring. We'll bring you an update when we do hear anything. But it's pretty interesting. Of all of the decks that we saw this tournament, in Brazil, the Buzz Shrine decks really, really took over.
Yeah.
Totally changed the meta. And then, in top 4, we saw Zork Banette. I don't think a deck that a lot of people considered.
Sure.
We saw the Metagross Solgaleo deck I don't think anybody considered.
Absolutely.
Dascan, a deck that nobody considered as well. And then, of course, I think maybe one of the favorites, if not the favorite, going in. We are waiting, I think.
The judges were reviewing something on the stream, so they've watched some video back. So they're making sure everything is going to be done according to how it's supposed to. But yeah, it's actually interesting you talk about Brazil before this tournament and that regional's taking place. And that regional's taking place. How it just really shook up what the expected meta was. I wonder what this weekend would have looked like if Brazil Regionals never took place. Would we have seen all these Shrine of Punishments decks still do so well? It seems like a deck that people were testing still, so it seems like a natural progression for the format based on where Rayquaza decks were so popular. And we saw Rayquaza decks actually adapting to that expected meta, playing things like Shining Lugia we saw from Andrew Mahone, and the Delmise we saw in Jose Morero's deck, both of those on stream. So it'll be interesting to see moving forward how those decks function.
My guess is if we didn't see the Shrine decks kind of take over from Brazil, we see a lot more of this guy. It probably wouldn't have the counters, and I would imagine, the people testing that Buzz Shrine deck probably would have still played it.
Yeah.
Would have been a lot more under the radar, a lot less countered, would have been, even more effective. I mean, it's in the
probably
finals.
Wouldn't have hit any Delmises. Shining Lugia probably wouldn't have been a $50 card the morning of the tournament.
Yeah. I would imagine Gascan would still be here.
I think Rukan was pretty set on Gascan.
I think so too. Yeah.
We can see he actually submitted his list. I guess it's Friday evening. Not super late. Some players usually wait until it's already become Saturday morning, 1 or 2 a.m. They test all night, try to figure things out. So it looks like judges have finalized things. We're going to get word here in just a moment and update you guys if we can on what happened.
So it sounds like Rukan is going to receive a double prize penalty for double attachment he had in the last game. I believe he attached to the Mimikyu and then to the Dawnwings that same turn.
I think it was the Marshadow on the bench.
Oh, maybe it was. It was the Marshadow. Sorry.
Sounds like there was an accidental double attachment there. The game has been, progressed from that point, so can't really fix Game 2. The Game 3 has already started. So since Caleb conceded the game, we're going to head into Game 3 still. Rukan will receive a double prize loss. Caleb doesn't really need to take 4 prizes to win this one.
Yeah, definitely. He's back in that first game, mode where he, only needs to take 4 prizes. But Rukan, fortunately did not set a GX this time, so Rukan at least can make it a fight. It's kind of an uphill battle though because both of these decks are built to take a prize every turn. I think Rukan's best bet, honestly, is going to make sure that Caleb doesn't get Macargo in play, and so then he can hope that Caleb will whiff a crucial turn here or there to try and claw back into this game.
Yeah, I think he has to hope for Caleb's clunky deck to clunk up without Magcargo, right? Yep. That's kind of what it's got to be. I mean, Rukan's deck we see, looking at his list, it's just 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4 in the trainer's column. So consistent, just knows what he wants to do, and has been pretty straightforward, and it's gotten him this far here to the finals.
Yeah. Rukan actually has 7 different cards that have 4 copies of each of them, and then just 2 Friend Ball and 2 Rescue Stretcher. His deck is built to go, and he is going to need to just gun it here. He's got to just target down these Macargo as soon as he can, I think, and then just kind of go from there. If he does that and he removes Macargo from play, maybe he can start using a GX like a Dawnwings later.
Sure. I think Moon's Eclipse GX is a huge attack in this matchup. Can definitely be really big and get things back into Rukan's favor. So
we're heading back into the game.
All right.
Remember when we just left the game, Caleb had just low lead for, I believe it was 7. He has already instructed. He's played triple Acrobike. So really, like we talked about, all he wants here, a Slugma preferably. Trubbish is good too. He attached the Beast Energy to Sneasel. So Caleb's got an ideal board. I'm not sure. Maybe he's...
Yeah, the last thing I think he's missing here is the Slugma turn 1, which hopefully he can find with one of these cards in his large hand.
My guess is he doesn't have it or a way to get it if he hasn't already done so. Or maybe Are we?
I think we're still finalizing some things.
Sure. Okay.
I think there's still a discussion being had at the table. But yeah, I think like just this turn, Caleb needs to find Slugma. I think that's just kind of what it comes down to finish out his turn. He got his energy attachment. It's unfortunate it had to be the beast energy onto the Sneasel, but yeah, we'll see what continues on from here.
Yeah, beast energy, of course, just counts as a colorless energy on anything not an Ultra Beast.
Yeah.
But on the Ultra Beast, it counts as a rainbow, and it does plus 30 damage. So
yeah, when I've played beast energy in decks like Buzzwole Lycanroc in the last format at tournaments like League Cups and things like that, and I've attached it to a Lycanroc or something, my opponent's always like, can you even do that? Like, you kind of forget that beast energy still just provides a colorless energy, but it just gets that super bonus whenever it's attached to an Ultra Beast Pokemon.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You think about, in the past when we had cards like Splash Energy and Strong Energy and stuff like that, those were only tied to that type. So they were just confirming something else in this game, and I think Caleb will just pass. So Rukan needs to... He's got to get some Inkay down.
Yeah, no Inkays yet, yeah. I think a big Lily would be huge for him as well. Here we go, Ultra Ball.
I think that's Guzma and a Mysterious Treasure, maybe. Interesting that he would discard that. So I think we might see a big supporter play coming if he's willing to toss a Mysterious Treasure.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another Mysterious
Treasure. So yeah, we might actually see a big Lele coming down.
Oh man, looks like a Marshadow potentially. Gonna put it into his hand again, just Marshadow right away.
So I wonder what that last card in his hand was, and why he opted to save that over the Mysterious Treasure. He does have a lot of search options, but he wants to make sure he can get as many Inkay as he can. Caleb throwing one of his cards at Rukan, kind of sending a signal. If I'm Rukan, ideally I find a Lily off of this Let Loose, or a Cynthia. We also found out that the players have been given a 5-minute time extension due to that ruling, so very standard practice.
Yeah. Off these 4 cards, Rukan's definitely going to want to find a supporter. And it's interesting, like, he Mysterious Treasured, so he could have grabbed Tapu Lele GX to find a supporter, but he recognizes, I have a prize penalty here. Putting Tapu Lele GX in play almost certainly will lose me this game. Like, if Caleb's able to just take a knockout on that and then take 2 prizes somewhere else, with that prize penalty, Rukan just kind of recognized, I need to play Marshadow and hope to get lucky and draw a supporter.
Yeah, so he plays the Friend Ball, doesn't even look at his deck. So he's just burning this card, which makes me think that
might be a Lily or something.
Might be a Lily coming. The Let Loose also is a little less powerful on Caleb's side because he has the Oranguru in play already. So he'll be able to likely use it this turn, but more importantly, draw out of the... And there's the Lily.
7 cards.
So Rukan matches Caleb's Lily, calls that, and he'll Acrobike.
Discards a Psychic, pretty much what you want to do. And since he did start Mimikyu, I believe, he'll be able to use Filch and start drawing a couple more cards and just leave himself with a massive hand. And Caleb only has 1 copy of Judge in his deck.
Yeah. Rukan discards the second Friend Ball with I believe that's his 3rd Mysterious Treasure in the discard.
At least.
Trash Launch, I'm pretty sure, would be able to knock out anything right now.
Yeah.
Rukan... The way he plays this matchup, Trash Lance doesn't really matter how many items you have because ideally it's all 1 prizes.
Absolutely. So we'll have to see what is left in Rukan's hand. Like I said, I'm sure this turn will end in a Filch, which is fine. Like drawing a couple cards, leaving yourself with a large hand is pretty good. Looks like that's what he's gonna do. Oh, maybe not quite yet. Checking his discard pile first, and seeing that he's played 87 trainers this game.
Yeah. Throws a skateboard down. Marshadow, I guess Marshadow has legs, so I guess it could, ride a skateboard.
Yeah, and we'll just see the Filch. Rukan not even going to look at the 2 cards, and we'll kick it back over to Caleb.
That's some poker stuff right there. An intimidation move. So Caleb is going to go for that Trubbish, I believe. You'll want to get the Slugma down as well this turn. I didn't see what was in his hand, so I don't know if he can burn other cards for a Rangaroo, or if he's just got a natural supporter in his hand.
Looks like he has a Rainbow Energy, so he can maybe attack with something like Buzzwole this turn. He would need, like, Kukui to be able to knock out this Mimikyu, but he definitely could do that if he finds the card. Doesn't have access to Beast Energy, of course, because of having to attach it to Sneasel on the opening turn.
Yeah.
Rainbow Energy onto the Buzzwole. Guzma going to bring up an Inkay. So not going to knock this out, but going to at least do a decent bit of damage to it.
The thing with... and actually, he was unable to instruct. So that was literally the max amount of cards he could burn. Probably be able to do it on the next turn, but it just kind of shows you how good that Let Loose was on Caleb. At least buys your kind of turn. He has, 4 escape boards, 3 left. So getting this Inkay out of the active spot shouldn't be a problem at all.
So it looks like Rukan left the 2 cards that he filched for next to his deck. So he doesn't have those in his hand yet.
Yeah, he's missing out on 2 cards. So we'll, just want to make sure he grabs those and actually knows that the 2 cards are there.
Yeah, the 2 cards next to his deck.
He did he drew them with the filch.
Yeah, they should just be in his hand.
Hasn't added them. Maybe he wants to just style on Caleb. Just do this with 2 less cards. One time I set out 8 prize cards in a match, so I know the feeling. Rukan needs to pull out all the tricks here. He actually opts to evolve the active Malamar, so Escape Board is not going to work.
Oh, but he has a Guzma.
Guzma. It's unfortunate. He's making these plays without the 2 cards, and that might have totally changed what he wanted to do. If he had an Escape Board, for example, in these 2 cards, that really changes it. That is sort of unfortunate for Rukan. I don't know how much it changes it. I don't know what they were.
And it looks like this time when he filches, he's just going to go ahead and put them directly in his hand.
Yeah. Maybe it's just could be the bright lights of the finals. Real high pressure situation. Sometimes you just miss things like that.
Oh, another Guzma.
Is Rukan going to Rukan is thinking about, I'm not really sure, it looked like he was almost going to extend his hand to Caleb to concede. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, this is definitely interesting. I think Rukan is considering conceding. It's definitely tough to come back from.
And
3
Rukan
prizes.
Just straight up, concede. So he was assessed an additional prize penalty.
I don't think there was any penalty. I think it was literally as soon as Caleb played the Guzma, Rukan just said, I don't